Hi, so today we're going to talk about building your sculptures, and we're going to use two methods of attachment. Um, Actually, you know what? I think we're going to use about four from those attachments. Um, uh, Remember to watch that attachment video that's going to show you guys how to work with those attachments. Okay, so I, you guys are going to be using found materials. Again, you could use styrofoam cups, styrofoam plates, paper plates, um, and for those, and if you do not have glue, you can use the slot and notch method. If you do have glue or paper clips or tape or a hot glue gun, you can use expand on your methods. I will not mark off on your grade if you are limited on your attachment methods that you're able to use. So don't worry about that. All right. So just be creative and have fun. Okay, so my found material was a coffee to go carrier. And what I liked about it is it had this negative space already built into it. And it really was interesting for me when I started moving and folding it and taking it apart. Okay, I already have an idea of where this is going. I'm going to pause the video a few times and make that work so you guys don't have to watch me do it. But the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to fold it, and I folded it to see kind of how I want this to kind of turn. Remember, just like our paper sculpture, we want all four sides to be interesting, all viewpoints. So I really kind of liked this indentation when I took this. And how I did that is I used the L brace. I took this shape and I wanted it to attach to this bottom shape, but I wanted to make it smaller and have it be a concave shape inside the form, so it pushes in the form. So to do that, what I did is first of all, I drew a line of where I wanted that fold to be. I then took my fingers and folded it along that line. If you have anything straight like a ruler or a book, you can put it against that line as kind of a help to fold that over. And what that did is that created that L shape. So what's nice about having an L shape is that gives me some surface area on the other side where I can now fold onto that sculpture. And see how I'm thinking, I love this open space right here, but I really wanted to kind of create an interesting backside. And to do that, I didn't want it flat. That's not interesting. So creating that L brace and attaching it is really nice. Now, this is a nice thing about having paper clips is I can paper clip it and just look at it before what I would do is I would glue that there. But I'm going to paper clip it just to keep it now, to keep a look at it. Now, this shape right here, what you want to do is move, respond, look at what's happening on your sculpture. So you can see here, that's interesting. It's pushing into the form. It's not flat. My negative space is being activated, but this shape right here is not very interesting. So this one, a little bit, I created another L brace because I'm going to push that in here. So to create just a nice three-dimensional form on there. So I'm going to have that attached to that. So that's giving it even more interesting. But I still am not in love with this right here. So you could see closely, I did some drawing on here. And I'm thinking about activating that edge of the corner, just like the edge of a painting is really important. The edge of corners and sculptures are really important. They become the push-off point. Remember, each shape has a different personality. Triangles have a lot of movement. They push you into different areas to see. Squares and rectangles are rectangles are very linear. They have a line. They kind of direct you one way or the other, but that triangle pushes you out and in. Circles have the most concentrated mass, so they feel very solid and grounded. So really pay attention to those shapes as you're building this, okay? All right, so I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to do some gluing, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the flange and the slot and notch method and the tab and slip. All right. All right, so I did some gluing. This is going to take a second to dry, but I just wanted to show you, you kind of, when you're gluing with Elmer's, which on cardboard, you really want to use any weight structure to hold it. So you could use, see, I use the paper clip to hold these two pieces together, and then I'm using rubber bands to kind of reinforce this attaching to that. So this is going to take a little bit to dry. I'm going to leave it alone while that happens, and we're going to talk about the flange method. Okay, so the flange method looks something like this. It is, here's a piece I was maybe going to use because I, again, love this negative space, and these implied shapes are gorgeous, but I eventually decided against it. So I'm going to show you guys how to make the flange method. So here's another flange shape. To make a flange shape, you basically want to figure out kind of where your shape's going to be at first, okay? You're creating little tabs that follow the end of the same line. So you can kind of see the end over at that same line. I then can tape my fingers or a ruler and make a fold at that line. And it allows me to, this is when I'm going to start using my fingers to mold it and bend it. It allows me to bend the shape. Now you can use something that's kind of a curvilinear shape, or again, you could use a ruler, put it against the edge of one of your flange cuts, and fold your paper if you wanted more of a geometric flange. So you see how I have a nice type edge there. So that's kind of nice. Now when I go to attach this to my sculpture, I'm going to glue these flanges, I don't know if you call them flanges, tabs, glue these tabs to the piece. So I find where I want it to go, and I would glue these down. And again, using paper clips probably to hold it, or you could use a book, or again, you could use rubber band. All right. Okay, so that is the flange method. You've seen the L brace method. The other method I'm going to talk about is the tab inslet. So here's a shape you can kind of see that I was working on. It has a tab right here. The shape is right here. Anything that is on that tab, I'm not going to see. That will be inserted into the sculpture. So anything outside that will become the shape. So I'm going to use my scissors, and I'm going to cut that. Okay? Shape out. So here's my shape, right? Now I'm going to cut that tab. And this isn't the best tab because I'm realizing it's on a perforated edge. So I'm going to just, so not the strongest tab. You can see it's perforated already. If you want a stronger tab, use a whole piece. Okay. Now, if I wanted to attach this, I would literally take, let's say I wanted to create some movement to this sculpture, maybe something coming off here, right? Or maybe once I cut this, I want to have a piece coming off here. So let me go ahead and cut that actually, because I'm thinking that's kind of what I'm going to do. And the kind of scissors I'm using are just kitchen scissors. We have a gazillion scissors in my house, but they always go missing. So, all right, so I cut that. I kind of like that shape a little bit better. Everything has to have an intention when you cut it. So see how there's like a little space right here? I don't know if that has enough intention or if that feels accidental. I'll have to think about that some more. Intention and purpose is a big word to think about. So I could add this here really easily. Now, if I wanted to add this here, it would almost push the sculpture up and prop it up. So maybe I don't like that. Maybe I want to add it. So I'm going to move this tab around and just keep looking at it and thinking about it and deciding a good place that makes the best impact. right? In the long run, maybe this isn't what I want to use at all. So I could tape this back here, but see how it's kind of floppy. Ideally, what I would do is I would make a cut into my sculpture, insert the tab. Oh, here's just a little area that's already got a cut into it because of the, so see how that's got a little cut into it. I just to show you how this works, you're going to cut a slit into your sculpture, into your cardboard, and you're going to insert your tab, and that is how it works. So that is the tab and slit method. If you want to add something to your sculpture like that. Okay. All right. So we have reviewed the flange, the L brace, the tab and slit, and now the flange and the slot and notch method we worked with our last project. So you are more than welcome to go back and use the slot and notch method. That is always accessible and available to you if you guys need that. Now remember, the slot notch method is really nice if you don't have glue, and all you do is you have 2 pieces of cardboard. They're both have that cut in them, and then they can be attached as so. Okay. All right. I'm going to let the sculpture dry. We'll look at it in our next video, and we'll talk about how to know if you're done with your sculpture and how to photograph it. Okay. Have fun. Can't wait to see your sculptures. I'm sure you guys are going to do a great job.